To add a forest, we first need to create a spline to determine the area where the trees will be scattered. So I'm thinking something like this, and maybe on the other side of the house as well, so we have something to reflect in the windows. And one larger spline around it, so the whole surface is covered. Okay, so let's name it area forest. And in this forest area we're gonna scatter these trees. So let's go ahead and create a forest pro object. Pick the spline. Okay. I'm gonna make a new layer, name it forest. And let's go to our forest object properties. Okay, first create. And I'm not gonna enable the camera visibility limits. Okay. And change that to custom object. And pick those trees one by one. Okay, this I'm gonna enable. Add another tree, the medium one. And another tree, or the tiny tree here. Okay, that's good. Now let's add a surface. Okay, just click plus and on the ground. And let's check from our camera how it looks. And looks like we need to bring it closer so we can see it. Okay, I'm going to increase the scale of this forest. Maybe like 200%. $250. I think that's fine. Okay, let's isolate it and quickly render and see how it looks right now. It's much too thick. You can't see through the trunks. So let's increase the density units to maybe 30,000. Maybe even 40. And enable some random transforms so it looks much more natural. Okay, render again. So the density might be alright. Let's add some color variation to the leaves. And to do that, I'm just going to use the forest color map in the leaves material. Okay. So set up that green color there. Maybe let's make more of them. So some should be lighter. And some should be darker. Okay, and turn on the gradient. See how it looks right now. Alright, since we're going for summer version right now, we're gonna make the colors a bit different. Maybe like this, we'll check. Okay, that green is too saturated. Maybe like this. Check again. Okay, the colors are nice, but they don't look very much like summer. They look sort of like spring. So this means we have to make them more intense. And not so salad green as they are now. Okay, that's a bit better. Let's bring some variation to the elements within a tree as well. Okay, good. Now let's unhide the ground. I think the edge of the forest is a bit too drastic, too sharp. So maybe let's try enabling some fall off. Fall off for density, maybe like 10 meters or 100 meters. Okay, sorry, not 100, but okay. So like this, and some scale. Let's randomize the pattern a bit more. Get a bit denser. That's okay, I think. Alright, so the forest looks good. Maybe too bright a bit too saturated. So let's bring down the saturation for the gradient and for these maps. Okay, now it looks pretty good, pretty realistic. Okay, let's unhide all and see how it looks all together. So that's not so bad. I think maybe we can add some bushes along the edge of the forest. So let's bring in the bushes. Okay, from the plants folder. Move them over here. And I'm just going to use the same object, same material as for the poplars. Just assign it. Okay. And I think we can convert them to meshes. Okay. Okay, let's create an area for the bushes. Well, let's say it's gonna be something like this one here. Let's name that area bushes. Create a forest pro object. Click on the area. Okay. Drop it down to the surface. Enable the transforms. Maybe more for the scale. And enable the fall off. Okay. And change the geometry to those bushes. So custom object and pick them. Okay, just quicker picking by name. Let's see how they look. Maybe scale them up by like 300%. I think they're much too dense. Okay, I'm gonna scale them up like 5 times. And they're much too dense, so I'm gonna change my spread to scattered. Try again. Okay, that's nice. Let's unhide all and see how they look. Right. And maybe turn off the camera limit to visibility option, and change the fall off to something smaller, like 5,000 centimeters. That's 50 meters. And same for the density. Okay, re-render. So too dense. Let's move the density back. And looks like we might need to change the material a bit as well. Right now it just sort of looks too similar to the forest in the background. And you want maybe the colors to be slightly lighter, since the bushes are smaller. They would probably look slightly different from the trees. Okay, better. So that's the density, and now let's fix the material. I'm gonna make a copy of my poplar material, name it bushes, and change the colors to something lighter and mossier. Maybe a bit more saturated. Okay, maybe like this. Okay, let's isolate them, re-render. First we have to assign the material, of course. And try again. Looks nice. So I think we can unhide all. And check one more time. So I think that looks good. So let's leave it. And we have just one more thing we have to add to this summer scene. And those are the reeds in the water. And it's quite easy to do. Just by creating the line. Okay, basically I'm just gonna trace the whole outline of the pond. Let's name that area reads. Okay, let's make a new layer. Let's hide the trees for now and the forest. So reads, okay. Let's move that area up. Looks good. Maybe let's draw another one for the exclude. This is going to be reads exclude. Okay, move that up. And let's unhide the grass layer. I think our read models were there. Yep. I'm just gonna take those reads and move them to my reads layer. Okay, let's hide the grass. And let's create a new forest object. And just select this spline right here. Okay, change those custom objects to reads. Pick them one by one. Add the surface. It's pretty much the same workflow as for the rest of the objects. Enable some random transforms. Let's see how they look. Okay, maybe slightly too long and too sparse. So let's increase the density first. Okay. It's good. Let's unhide these. These two lines. And let's add an area. To exclude, okay? And now moving some points on this, we can adjust the composition in the viewport. Let's unhide ground and water to see exactly how it looks. Okay, I think those reeds are too large. Okay, let's freeze the ground and the water. Okay, and let's check those reeds again. So let's increase the density a bit and make them a bit smaller. And I'm gonna make them smaller by using the global scale. Maybe let's try at 70. So they are quite dense right now. Let's enable some fall-offs for the scale in the exclude direction. That's nice. And maybe let's add the include as well. And change the curve a bit. Okay, let's bring it up so they don't go to 0, but they stay slightly a lot longer. Like this. Okay, now I think those large patches are a bit too much. So let's reduce the probability to 5% and just leave the smaller reeds. Okay, looking a bit better. And finally, let's bring down the probability of medium reeds as well. Okay, nice. Not so clumpy anymore. I'm just adjusting the areas a bit. And all that's left is adjusting the material. And basically I'm just going to use a multi-sub with 3 different colors and some reflections. Some greenish reflections. Okay, like that. And just copy them in the other slots and change the colors a bit. Okay, re-render. Looking pretty good. And I think we're almost done here. Just include increase the density a little bit. Alright, so let's unhide everything, including the grass. I also added some generic furniture there inside the house. And let's render, and I think our summer scene is finished. Okay, so looks pretty good. I think the only problem is that the grass is a bit too intense in color. And just adjust these materials right here. And desaturate it a bit. And make it slightly darker. It would be good for spring, but for summer it's a bit too bright. So just basically make the colors weaker. Okay, let's render the small patch and see the changes. And I think this is gonna be good. Okay, so that's your summer scene.